Just kind of like pre-screens before the real screening. So
Right.
that's helpful too. And you can set your different like days and availability for self-access showings. But it's very useful and good for getting people in properties and letting them view them.
Yeah, because I like that. I mean, I don't know. I would always be like, oh, you want to see Fernwood? That's easy. Let me just hop in the car and meet you there. Like, I do like to meet people. So it's not always, for me, my favorite. However, I accept that in the consumer, they're not having to wait on my schedule to go open
A door,
door.
exactly.
Yeah,
They can just
is
do it
it-
on their time.
Got You Covered, a true real estate podcast. We are an office of realtors that managed to learn from the best with the worst teaching techniques. However, we survived with stories and lessons to tell. The goal is to help skip the pitfalls while enjoying the laughs and lessons learned. So no matter the real estate woe, we got you covered.
Okay, welcome. Welcome to Got You Covered, a true real estate podcast. And I'm Virginia Ann, your host, and today I'm here with Autumn Wilson.
Hi, I'm Autumn.
So we are going to talk today about some of the tools in property management that we find super useful. And when I'm always talking about property management, I have different roles, but for the nitty gritty and for like getting the job done, that's really not me, it's Autumn. So we were going to have Autumn today explain exactly when someone asks me a question on what's the rent, what's it located, where's it, we have this dashboard type information console source, and we're not being paid by AppFolio, but we use AppFolio.
Yes.
But AppFolio is only as good as using it. So some of the different tools in general, I was going to kind of have Autumn really explain them since she uses them more, and I just think they're magic.
Yes.
That have all the information. It's basically like having Autumn's brain. So
AppFolio is very beneficial to the entire leasing world in general. It screens tenants. It allows them to upload or it allows them to give access to their bank account, where that way we are able to verify income, and it pulls the recurring pay stubs by the employer. So we're able to verify income nicely through that. It screens them as far as criminal background credit goes. It basically keeps up with, it's like your leasing coordinator's little assistant. Keeps up with.
So yeah, it gets you all the information, because we used to have paper copies.
Yes.
Where like you would write out, and even emergency contacts, isn't that on it?
Yes.
So if like an emergency happened, we would have that information in AppFolio, from AppFolio application
Yeah.
that has all the resources. That it's a great
tool.
kinda
Yes.
database and tool. And then it keeps up with all the information notifies in the reports, is what I love so much, is that the 3-day notices. So if a tenant's not paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can actually populate the total owed, outstanding, or just total rent owed. And so that's a good thing too. You don't have to go through a ledger and look at each individual charge. It just can populate that for you. So that's really helpful as well.
So like if you have 5 properties, it's pretty easy to see if for instance they mail you checks, then you would have 5 checks, know that your 5 tenants paid rent.
Yes.
So you might not need something like AppFolio, but we have 300 checks in different forms of payment. So
Yes.
you've got where it's paid through AppFolio.
Mm-hmm. You can do the ACH.
Or like a money order, and then some people take cash. We really try not to take cash.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, easier IRS and keeping your books to not for us, and because the volume that
It'd be
I
difficult.
watch too much 48 Hours, so I'm kind of like, oh, no cash.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want.
Handling 300 different individuals' cash might be a little much.
Yeah. Then like somebody would bust in the door and be like, give us the rent money. So again, I don't know who, but you know. So like to be cash free.
Yes. You can pull like different kind of reporting as far as rent roll goes. It'll pull every tenant, their current rent, what they've paid for the month, so it can
And then
keep up
I
with
like that you
as
can
well.
like not speak to the tenants, but essentially is that if, for instance, it's going to be cold, have the pipes.
Yes.
Like, be sure to cover up your pipes tonight, or
You
have
can-
dripping water.
Yeah, you can send out like mass text to certain units, complexes, a certain property, however many people you want as far as like notifications or notices goes on something to expect.
So it's, I like secretly love it.
Me
merely
too.
because, and again, like, I know there are other ones. I think we've used Yardi, and then I'm trying to think of other ones that we've had, but it's been my favorite because I'm not the most techie person. And QuickBooks, for instance, is a little bit boring to me.
Yeah.
And I know that that's cheesy, that I like the interface to be pretty. But it does have different colors in it.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's cute. It's like you're excited to put information in it.
Excited to work on
Yeah.
AppFolio.
I mean, it's hilarious, but I don't know. I did one online service, and when he was doing the spiel on it and showing it to me, I was like, but it looks like construction paper
You're like, "This is
online
boring."
somehow. And then I started like screenshotting to then Google populate like what I didn't like. That I was like, what is this? And then I realized it was an old school font. I'm like, you need a better font. And I realized I'm so distracted in the thing that I'm just like, can you have some better graphics? But I realized it's dry information. It's probably why buttoned up accountants like QuickBooks and they keep it boring. It's not
It's
for
just-
the me that's like, I want it in red showing up. We do not have rent. Like
Big red
this
letters.
mortgage
Pay
is
your rent.
due. Like, I like the dashboard.
Yes.
As for instance, QuickBooks too, is that you can look to see, but it's not going to send you like, now's the time for a 3-day notice. You can put in what the state's laws are on when you have to do this and when you have to do that task.
Yes.
So we'll say it's only as good as your autumn. Because if you don't have autumn putting it in right, then you could have all sorts of
Issues.
headaches.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
That if
For
you
sure.
don't put in the rules and you don't spend the time to like get it set up, then it's not going to be wonderful.
Exactly.
But so I do accept that ours is wonderful because Autumn will even like put notes that she talked to him and then talked to this vendor and he said this. So I'm not having to always go say what's going on this.
There's
The magic. It's in there.
AppFolio lets you
It
document
tells me like,
everything.
yeah, this part is being ordered and
Or
whatever
this
else.
work
Yeah.
order's been quoted or estimated or
that
yeah.
exactly like I'm in the know if I ran into the husband and he hadn't talked to the wife and he's like, what's going on with our water heater? I'm like, hold that thought.
Let me
Let me look. Autumn said the part has been ordered. It will be delivered in the morning and it will be installed by Peg Leg. Like then all the things I can run into people in the grocery store and seem like I am so in the know.
in the leasing world for
Yes,
sure.
exactly. When I'm really like, huh? What? You have a water heater? What does that do? No, I'm not that bad, but there are some things that
It's like
when they're explaining, I'm like, eyes glazed over, just fix it, please. Thank you.
yeah.
But and then also Tenant Turner. So Tenant Turner is on the vacant houses that we use, or
Yes.
it's on all of them. So
Yes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
tenant turner is our way of it's
access to the property.
yes. So that's how we put our lock boxes on, and we assign certain serial numbers for the lock boxes to this property. It you can send out a pre-qualification questionnaire, which is really helpful too, because it kind of like pre-screens them to
Okay.
see if they'll be qualified, and then so that's really helpful too.
Yeah.
You can kind of customize your own.
Because then you're not wasting
requirements
their
in
time
there.
or your time. Is that
Exactly.
you're sending them to a property that could be a viable option.
Yes,
that-
exactly.
Yeah, so
So it's kind of like pre-screens before the real screening. So
Right.
that's helpful too. And you can set your different like days and availability for self-access showings. But it's very useful and good for getting people in properties and letting them view them.
Yeah, because I like that. I mean, I don't know. I would always be like, oh, you want to see Fernwood? That's easy. Let me just hop in the car and meet you there. Like, I do like to meet people, so it's not always, for me, my favorite. However, I accept that in the consumer, they're not having to wait on my schedule to go open.
A door,
A door,
exactly.
yeah.
They can just
Is
do it
it-
on their time.
They don't have to have me and the kids on a Saturday. Like, being like, okay, sorry, my child is screaming at you. Rent this place and I want to go home.
Yeah, it's all through text messaging, so that's really helpful too for people. They're able to like request their showing, and then the app will, or the system will automatically text them before the time and get them like set up where they enter the serial number, and then it gives them the code to get in.
Yeah.
And it also gets their driver's license. They
Oh,
can't
that is
schedule
nice.
a showing without the driver's
So you
license.
have that for the
Mhm.
cops if they steal all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
nice.
And then we have insurance, so, there's all the things that, there are risks for some that I absolutely
Yes,
understand.
but-
But luckily, we're a smaller town that we don't have,
to worry about
Yeah,
that
we're not
all
like-
the time. Yeah.
I feel like everything seems so much more fluid. There was so much in my mind and notes of scattered
to keep
thoughts.
up with.
Yeah,
and-
that you're like,
what do I do?
oh my God, I forgot to put that one on the list. And a neighbor called about the yard, and now I'm like, oh, the yard's not been done because it's not on the list because I didn't put that it's vacant, so I haven't tried to rent it in 3 weeks. And thank God it's not winter, and there was
Yeah.
no yard to call about for me to not even know that my bad. That there are less my bads. That I like that.
Yeah,
as
for
well.
sure. It's all there and
That it's
together.
good.
And AppFolio and Tenant Turner actually is like integrated together too, and that's super helpful.
And I mean, it's
and
great
AppFolio
for the,
goes to our website.
yes.
all
So
just
it's all
conjoined.
just like one big conglomerate of awesome. That, and for me, it's I like that it's consumer based, but that it's helpful that reports can be on the mortgages, on like flagging when. So with the mortgage, the interest can go up at certain times, and so after, I don't know, however many years, and it just depends on the mortgage that you have, but it will flag October, hey, all these interest rates are going up on these units, so
Yeah.
you can see, okay, I need to refinance or call the bank, or
Yeah.
or at least be aware that it's coming. So
heads
then
up.
you're not just constantly guessing, and then you have the information. So if, especially insurance, taxes and insurance have gone up.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
If you leased a unit, I feel like before you're like, oh, this was $1,200, it'll be $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
But with AppFolio, I'm now able to see, oh, taxes went up a lot. This really,
Needs to be
that's not
increased.
affordable. Like, let's get it painted and this, and get it a little bit nicer, but also get it the rent a little bit
Yeah,
better,
a little more
because
money.
because Texas be proud on their property taxes. So
yes, for sure. For
that
sure.
information just helps. It helps.
Being able to pull the monthly cost and
Yeah.
seeing everything going in and out for that certain property. Yeah.
And personally, I think having the volume to have the tool is nice. Like, I would almost say, I think 10 properties probably justifies the cost or so, that I would almost, if I were an investor, want to have enough to use it.
Yes.
Because manually still keeping up with all the information of the tenants, the insurance, the mortgage, the bank that you have it,
Yeah, it's a
like,
lot.
just those concepts are enough to have in your mind. And then, let alone, the other side of it, of like, if the tenant has a heart attack, you want to know who to call.
Yeah, exactly. And it definitely has all that information.
And doesn't it do quotes for maintenance?
Yes, so you can actually input like multiple different quotes, and then they'll be pending until you like approve one. So you could have like 5 different quotes under a property, and then this one's approved, these are declined, or
Yeah, and that's super helpful
for
because
sure, because you can
yeah.
reference back and see, well, look at these different quotes, or
Yeah,
what was
like
so
even
different,
in the press,
or
like, okay, for a water heater, there was a $300 difference on this last one. this is the vendor to call this time.
Exactly.
That it kind of gives you, where you're
Good-
not having to remember.
Good tracking
I
system.
think the older I get, for me, I'm like, you can probably remember, hey, this vendor in town was the cheapest.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, who was that?
Who do I call again?
That was the really nice tenant in my phone that she's like a cookie lady. And I will have different in my phone, like cookie tenant or little. I feel like I'm like Michael on The Office. You're so young. I forget. You're probably
I know
not.
about The Office.
Okay,
I know
well,
about
good.
The Office.
Okay.
I'm not a
Hey, I said, where's my snare
not
earlier.
a huge Office fan, but
And
I
you
do know
were like-
about it.
You're like, I do know it exists. But
Yes.
yeah. 'Cause, yeah, where's my stare? You were like, huh? Which that's Eminem. Which you did say you knew him.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, but you don't.
You want me to bust
When
out
you
a
know,
rap?
you know.
You know. I know.
Like, where's my snare? I'm Slim Shady. But anyway, we're getting Autumn with the times, getting her knowing like the 90s.
I'm getting there.
Yeah,
Getting there.
yeah. So all the good stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think that you can get bogged down with too many tools.
It can be.
My brother's quick to send, like he'll go to a conference and he'll send like, this is a new thing that can tag anyone's license plate that comes. And then here's another service that you can just say, I don't know, speak to a cloud or a Gbot or chatbot.
Mm-hmm.
We're not big enough, so I didn't go into the chatbot speaking. I haven't AI'd the operation yet.
Yeah.
I automate it. So our volume, we can automate answer questions and do. And I know the world is getting to the bots.
Yeah, yeah. But so one thing about AppFolio too, though, with you talking about the bot, is it can be overwhelming, but there is a lot of like training resources and all the things it gives you to know exactly how to utilize
How to do it,
and
yeah.
work it. And they have like I use it all the time, but a little thing at the bottom of the computer where you can click on it and you can just chat with the AppFolio AI bot, and that it's not a. Sometimes it'll give you a real person if it's
Yeah.
kind of.
But like
out of
sometimes you can
options,
tell that
but-
you're like, this is not what I'm asking. No, there was a
Real
comedian
human.
that was talking about how you do have to know how to ask the question in the AI world
word,
because
yeah,
he was
world.
talking about, oh God, it was a funny skit, but it was Nate Gadsky, I don't know. I'm messing up his name, but he's funny. But he was talking about how there's the dumb internet. And he was like, I don't ever get to the real internet because I'll ask the question of the eagle and the way it'll be like eagle laws instead of protection of, you know.
Yeah,
an
you
eagle.
gotta have to.
And so he was always saying he gets the dumb,
Dumb bot.
yeah, the dumb Gmail. And that's like me where the bot can't understand what I'm asking. 'Cause
What?
I'll be so mad sometimes when I'm asking like, what do I have to do to talk to a human?
Yeah.
But it's really me that keeps asking the question improperly. So it's like, cannot compute. That's
Yeah.
not a word.
Word, please.
So if you have me's, you can talk to Autumn. You don't have to talk to a bot.
For sure. For sure.
But yeah, I do think the tools that they're like what you make, you know, they're what you make them.
What you make of it, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It could do absolutely, not everything, of course, but it can do a lot of stuff that I feel other people might be keeping up with on paper or in their
Yeah,
head or
in their
whatever
head,
it may
yeah.
be. Yeah.
And then, like, if it is in their head,
They forget or.
yeah, or like they're sick,
Yeah.
it's got to get to the next person's
Nobody
head.
can
Because the bank
pick
doesn't
up the
care that
slack.
I'm like, oh, I wanted to pay my mortgage and I got sick and I forgot.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, yeah,
No.
no, here's the fine.
Yeah, still owed.
Here you go. Welcome to the real world. So I like that it helps
Helps
keep us online, on task.
Definitely keeps me sane.
Yeah?
Yes.
And it keeps you in the know on if you had a bad experience, or not a bad experience, but if someone was evicted, it
Oh,
would
yeah.
populate that they were a
You can-
prior.
Yes, but it'll say evict in it. Prior
Nice.
eviction.
Nice. So it gives you It gives you the scoop on everybody.
It does. It keeps up with, you can search from like years back and just.
Do you have to have fun conversations on criminal histories?
Yeah, that can get a little personal.
You're like, this checkered past. Or are they usually like, oh, yeah, no, I had that murder charge. Is that, like, can I not leave because of that? Have you ever had any of that?
Oh, a lot of people will be upfront about what
It's a complex. It's
there's some things that just we can't accept.
Kids in the complex. Sorry about your felony. No judgment, but is that information is useful?
Yes, for sure.
And so, but I was just curious. Like when I was practicing law, like I spent probably 2 hours with this person, and talking about getting his record sealed, and we'll get it sealed, and and I was so excited to have a client. And then in Arkansas, there was like one charge that you cannot get erased that had I had like just the information in charge, I could have worked backwards.
Yeah,
but
if you would have just told me.
I just like sat down and listened to like how it had affected his life and how getting this expunged would be amazing and and then So I think that more information always helps.
It does.
Save some of the awkwardness or the time.
The rental fees.
Yeah.
The application
fees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause they're non-refundable. So
yeah.
If someone has something that I know we can't accept on, I'm like, well, if you tell me, we can talk about it, and then that's just how it is. Yeah.
I get it. That makes sense.
Because we don't want to waste anybody's application fee if we know that stuff.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And they don't want to do that either.
Yeah. So you're like, tell the truth. No.
Tell it all. Just tell me it all, and then let's talk about it.
Yeah. What's been the like weirdest request? I mean, I know we're talking about tools, but I do like the nitty gritty on like, can you come change my light bulb, or with tenants? Like you get to experience some of. Listen, I can say that because I could be a crazy tenant. So I
actually have a very recent one.
Oh.
So a squirrel got into a house yesterday.
Oh.
And was just chilling in the living room.
Yeah.
So I got that phone call. There's a squirrel just got in my house.
There's
what
a
do
squirrel
I
in
do?
my house.
I'm like,
and then you're
sending
like,
someone
and I
now.
would be like, squirrel laws. Like, what could you do?
What do I do to get a squirrel out of the house?
Yeah, I know. Google, like, it's like, what?
It can get a little wild.
Yeah. And then I'm like on a search about ADD, and I'm like, no, there is a squirrel in the house. Like,
on the couch.
I need Google. Like, tell me the deal. What is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can
I
get
don't
a little
know how I would
out there, but we got it handled. Squirrel safely removed.
Were you like, does he sing? Is it a chipmunk?
I just imagined it like chilling on the couch with the remote, just flipping through the TV, like took over.
I am
That's
like,
how I imagined the squirrel in the house when I got the phone call.
And then you kind of want to be like, is it talking to you? Like, so, is it?
What's it doing?
Is it like singing? Like, does he have two little friends?
Is it wearing like one of those little sweaters?
Yeah,
with the A on
yeah.
it?
Because
is it Alvin?
Do not spray that thing. Like,
no.
we're gonna come get him and get rich.
Just release him back into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be his manager. Yeah, get us that chipmunk.
We'll find him a place to rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he can talk, absolutely. Like, he should be paying rent.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
we got this. So.
But yeah, it can get some crazy ones. But that was just the one that I was like, that's new.
Yeah.
Squirrel in the house. On it.
Yeah, on it. Yeah. And that's again where like me, I'm such a like, here, I'm on my way. Like, I'm always curious and interested in randomness that I was not good at property management. Like, it is my Achilles, because I'm like, okay, let's FaceTime this. Like, let's
see what's really going on over there.
What's happening? Let me just come over. Like, I'll get a net. Like, I'll MacGyver this deal. Or, I don't know. Like, if it would be a weird request, I'd be like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, on the way. I got it.
I've seen a YouTube on fixing, or
let me Google it real quick.
Because also for me, again, with the it's hard to explain how to do some things over the phone.
It is.
So if it's how to set your garage, I've got better at explaining all these things, but it's like, you're going to have to press the button and someone else is going to do the code and then this and that. And sometimes I'll just say, let me just come over.
Let me just do it.
I don't know how to explain how to do this, which now I love that there's like, I'm going to send you a YouTube video on it.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to,
Yeah, for sure.
send the explanation of how to, but
Do it for
before I was like, I don't know how to explain this. Let me just come over. So
Yeah.
make dinner and I'll be there in a bit. But, okay, well, we just kind of wanted to go over the tools that we're using, and it's been, a great experience because of Autumn. So we won't share our Autumn Ninja, but I do think those things are helpful and they're worth
Yes.
the investment and worth knowing about. Again, I'm not sure, once we found AppFolio, I forget the names of some of the other ones. I'm an AOL user, so I'm loyal.
Yeah, we like
That,
AppFolio.
yeah, that, hey, AppFolio, send us some new tools. But no.
They come out with new stuff all the time. They do.
Yeah.
They'll email you. Check out this new.
Yeah, and you
thing
can
we
send
got.
them, I don't like this.
Give them feedback. What is
Like,
this?
That is not pretty. You need to fix the font. But,
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it and that's all for now. So if you have any questions, just call Autumn.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you're interested in more content like this, make sure to follow us online. We got you covered. Hosted by Raffaelli Realtors. Produced by McLean Media. Music by Jody Crump at Studio C. Thanks for listening to Got You Covered, a true real estate podcast.